Welcome to Death Valley. 15 of the last 21 games between Georgia Tech and Clemson have been decided by 5 or fewer points in a series that has seen so many magical moments.
To the end zone again, and it is caught! Touchdown, Kerry Watkins! Dantzler keeps it, Dantzler, touchdown! Clemson wins!
Look at that. Change of possession. Oh my goodness. There's for the win. Johnson got it. Touchdown.
Kick is away. And it's good. He ripped it. Dwyer to the outside. Dwyer. Touchdown.
Today they meet again in a critical ACC showdown. They met in last year's conference title game, and today's rematch is huge for Georgia Tech's hopes of repeating as ACC champions. For Clemson, their season will turn one way or another today. Good afternoon, everybody. Mike Patrick, Craig James. It's great to have you with us. Joshua Nesbitt has led Georgia Tech to a 5-2 record, and this afternoon with 44 yards rushing, he will break the ACC quarterback rushing mark. And as the trigger man for this option offense, I think 44 yards ought to come pretty easily.
He probably gets there, only if that offensive line. It's going to be a physical contest with Clemson's defensive tackles inside. A lot of fun to watch that. In my mind, in watching last year's 2 contests that were so close, it was third downs where Joshua Nesbitt made the difference. Clemson couldn't get Georgia Tech off the field. They couldn't stop Georgia Tech and Nesbitt on critical downs. So in this ball game tonight, third down is very important for Georgia Tech.
Clemson has a premier quarterback of its own, Kyle Parker, whose game really took off at this point last year, and whose game had better take off again if Clemson's going to have any success in the second half of the season.
Absolutely, partner. They've got it. When he gets the ball back, Parker has to do something with it. Now, he's looking for development. He's looking towards the future. He's a baseball guy, but he wants to be a football player. And for him to have success today, in my mind, he has to rely on the running game, but he also has to push the football down the field. Cannot play in a 5-yard area.
And here are the Clemson Tigers. And we are almost ready to go from Death Valley. Georgia Tech and Clemson, a huge ACC game. It's one of the college football's greatest traditions, created by legendary Clemson coach Frank Howard. The Tigers touch Howard's rock before storming onto the field at Death Valley. And today, Dabo Swinney led the way as his Tigers performed the ritual for the 5th time this season. What a perfect day for this ball game here in Clemson, South Carolina, the 76th meeting. Georgia Tech leads with 49 victories. 12 of the last 15 have been so very close. Scott Blair to kick it away, and Andre Ellington, who returned one for a touchdown a week ago, is deep to receive. He waits to Clemson 3. Ellington driven 2 yards deep in the end zone. He'll bring it out. Ellington up near the 25-yard line. They'll start from there.
Well, Kyle Parker this afternoon is going to have confidence in his wide receivers. The coaching staff very disappointed in that unit with the amount of drops they've had. A key part of this game. Yes, they can run the football, but the 6 drops last week, the 6 drops the week before, those add up. Georgia Tech's defense doesn't need any kind of success from that unit today. It'll be a young wide receiver unit as well.
They have made a decision to go with youth. Freshman, redshirt freshman out there. Parker in the shotgun. And wants to throw on first down. Deal, his fullback, up ended as he got to the 26. There's also a flag down. That would have been Deal's first catch of the entire season if it stands.
Illegal motion, number 23, the offense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Andre Ellington called for motion.
This offensive line led by their left tackle Chris Harrison over on the left side, a very strong, talented line. The center Freeman, a good ball player as well. In the backfield they have a lot of good strong receivers and running backs. Ellington and his partner Jamie Harper continuing the tradition here at Clemson of excellent runners.
Deal gets to touch the ball about once a month whether he needs it or not, and he had the play wiped out by a penalty. You go out in the flat flanker screen, Jerron Brown, who has a lot of talent, making only his 11th grab of the season.
On defense, this Georgia Tech team not going to be surprised up front with a little short game. Cross, an excellent player. Number 94 must call his name a lot today. Linebackers, not a real deep unit, but a talented group as well. Burnett, Julian, 40 there, a leader. And in the secondary, Mario Butler, number 2. He'll try to keep them all lined up right.
Parker against only a 3-man rush. Ellington in the flat. Not much there. Picks up a couple of yards at best. He's covered up by Steven Sylvester, one of the outside linebackers. So they came with a 3-man rush and dropped 8.
And you know, Mike, what Al Groh, the defensive coordinator, has told his unit today, Parker doesn't throw the ball deep. They have not been pushed deep, and so they're going to drop 8 and they're going to keep them in front of them and then attack the ball when it's thrown underneath short.
Al Groh installed a new defensive scheme here, the 3-4. He came from Virginia. Long-time NFL background. Here comes the blitz out in the flat. It's picked off. Intercepted by Tarrant, and now they're going to say it hit the ground. Gerard Tarrant, who was one of the big play guys in all of college football, nearly had a pick 6.
Mike, when you play in a box that I just mentioned, when you play shallow like this, your defense is expecting things to go sideways and quick. Tarrant, and a very talented football player who comes up and almost the pick 6. But that's not the start that Parker was looking for.
These teams played each other last year in the ACC championship game. There was not a punt in that game. Tarrant will go deep for this kick, and a flag down as they ran into the punter, Dawson Zimmerman.
Personal foul, roughing the kicker, number 6 for the defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Rod Sweeting called for a personal foul that will keep the drive alive.
Mike, I think Sweeting recognized that the snap was a little off and the timing was going to be pulled away from the punter as well, and got a little more aggressive with his approach. That's barely touching him, but that's touching him.
Well, the kicker is so vulnerable. But that will give Clemson a first down up near the 45-yard line.
Georgia Tech is challenging the previous play that the kick was touched by a defender.
If the rusher touches the ball trying to block the punt, he can then hit the kicker, and that's what they're contending.
Indisputable video evidence. I didn't see it on that
Not
one
there.
I didn't see it.
No,
I can't tell there either.
certainly it's not indisputable.
That's the key word. You may have thought, you may have heard it, but you can't hear it on a replay. And so therefore it's got to be indisputable video evidence to overturn it.
Well, if they thought they heard it, they'd have made the call the other way.
And the officials usually hear it. You hear that little boom, boom.
Yeah, you hear a thump, tick,
Yeah.
something.
Boy, is it a great day here at Clemson for football. Let's see if we can hear it. didn't hear it. And there's no language called indisputable audio evidence.
Well, there might be.
It could come into play, I suppose.
There might be. But they're not going to find anything definitive on this.
Clemson had such a hard time with Georgia Tech last season. Such close games.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. The defense did not touch the ball. First down, Clemson.
That they're going to need breaks today like that right there, where they can get a roughing the punter call early to help that offense get their rhythm.
Anything they can do to keep Georgia Tech's offense off the field is a good thing in their mind. So Parker will lead him back out. Ellington is the setback, and I don't know what this delay is. Parker will go under center, and they'll shift the strength of the formation to the near side with Deal on the wing. Ellington straight up the middle. Breaks a tackle off to the races. 20, 10, touchdown. A 55-yard run for his 9th rushing touchdown of the season.
They say he's a home run threat. You see it right now. What happens here? Look at the offensive line manned up over here. The motion is coming over here. It got the linebacker stuck in the middle of the field. Allowed the center to come out and to log into hook. No flow, no support from the Georgia Tech linebackers. And there's the speed of Mr. Ellington.
Now they're going to take a look to see if he stepped out of bounds.
Now, if you're Georgia Tech, you're sitting there thinking, well, we just left you guys in the ACC championship game, and y'all had this guy wore number 28. I thought they hung that on the rafters here at this stadium, and that guy was gone.
Did look a little spillerish, didn't he?
Oh, my goodness.
Take a look. Well, again, you're not going to find anything indisputable on that, I don't believe.
You may be on this one here. This shot here might see if he's on. You could argue that there's some green between the white sideline. I don't think that's indisputable.
I don't either.
Regardless of whether his foot's in or out, the message that it sent Georgia Tech's defense is thunder and lightning might be gone, but the new storm, as they're calling them here, the new storm dawning.
He's trying to replace C.J. Spiller, and they need a replacement for Jacoby Ford, who was their brilliant wide receiver. And there's nothing in those replays that could overrule this.
No, that's going to be a touchdown.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
So Clemson, inside 2 minutes of the first quarter, takes a lead here at home.
All the result of a roughing the punter, giving the offense a second opportunity.
Chandler Catanzaro for the point after. He is 23 for 23 on extra points this year. Clemson, on the strength of a 55-yard run by Andre Ellington, leads Georgia Tech by 7. Andre Ellington's 55-yard touchdown run has Clemson on top early against Georgia Tech. The Yellow Jackets ready to get their hands on the football for the first time. Paul Johnson's option offense will be ready to go momentarily. Bostic and Peebles are deep. Bostic dives to the 24-yard line.
Al Groh was telling me before the game how important it was to have gap responsibility. First thing you're going to notice here with Ellington is the missed tackle. Mario Edwards, number 8. You can't miss there. When you miss there, it gives you the big one. Then look at the seal blocks from the inside. Losing gap responsibility on the inside. Just cannot allow for your big guys to be able to seal off. There's folks all across the board on that defensive line of Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech, the second-ranked rushing attack in the country. Nesbitt on the pitch, and it goes out of bounds. That could have even been forward. The toss to Roddy Jones.
I can tell you now, DeAndre McDaniel, the strong safety number 2, he will have a field day staying up with Mr. Nesbitt. Josh Nesbitt, one of the things that you always see with this offense that is predictable, they put the ball on the ground. Paul Johnson cannot keep the ball in the hands. There's so many different things going on down there with the options and the reads and the pitching. They fumble it routinely.
And that last toss was called a forward pass. Nesbitt back to throw. One of the rare times in a pocket, overthrown and almost intercepted by DeAndre McDaniel, who is 4th in the nation in active career interceptions. That's been the problem with Nesbitt. He's completing less than 40% of his passes.
And that was his 35th attempt. I mean, they just don't throw the ball. And Nesbitt worked on his passes, his throwing 2 summers ago, really wanting to improve it. Now, when they do complete it, it's for a big number.
Yeah. But they're 119th in the country. They average only 85 yards a game. Nesbitt tipped it incomplete, nearly picked again, this time by the defensive end Andre Branch, who is working at linebacker today in place of Brandon May, who has a bad calf. So a tremendous 3-and-out defensive stand for Clemson to start the game.
Yeah, you know what? And when you see outside here, watch the passing lane. How the linebacker defensive end drops in there and gets in the eye and the vision of what's going on. That's just smart football there, and a good job of knowing where they're trying to throw, reading Nesbitt's eyes.
Poole to kick to Gilchrist. Driven all the way back to the 22-yard line. And knocked out of bounds at the 40. That's going to be a personal foul at the end of the play. A 17-yard return and a 15-yard penalty on Egbunaway, who made the clear hit out of bounds.
You know what? This team's just going to have to regroup. Georgia Tech has come into a hostile environment on a day where Clemson has revenge on their mind. They've got to huddle up on the sidelines.
After the play, personal foul, number 41 of the kicking team. 15-yard penalty for a minute play, first down.
Georgia Tech special teams already have 2 personal fouls in this game. One kept the touchdown drive alive. This one gets another 15 yards on a punt return. Fireworks early on the beautiful campus at Clemson. And Georgia Tech finds itself in a 7-0 hole. And Clemson with its second possession already at the Tech 45-yard line. Harper in at tailback. He'll get his first carry. There's a big hole up the middle as he lost his balance and stumbled after gaining 4. This is a huge game for Georgia Tech. They're trying to keep pace with Virginia Tech in the Coastal Division. Virginia Tech already a winner today over Duke. They could go to 4-1 and stay a half game back. Clemson is pretty much do or die now. You fall to 1-3. I don't think Florida State's going to cooperate with you.
Well, Florida State, they play next Thursday night at NC State on ESPN, so they have a chance of getting nicked.
Harper inside the 40.
But it is a game. This is a game that Clemson clearly recognized as kind of their game. This is it. This is the season. It's do or die. You can see it, too. You can feel the urgency, even in warm-ups on the field with them. You could just, the focus that this team had, understanding the urgency.
And Dabo Swinney's got to be thinking, what does it take to beat these guys? He's played them 3 times in his brief Clemson career and lost all 3, including last year's ACC championship game. Parker, draw play. Harper Turns a corner, has a first down. And they are running through a lot of tackles from Georgia Tech.
I was going to watch today to see if Clemson's linebackers would get lost in the middle of the field. To me right now, I'm watching the Georgia Tech linebackers. Watch 40. Burnett inside. I mean, just kind of lost in la-la land. They're covering up. They're not covering the field.
Ellington back in. He's behind Deal, this time in the eye. Play action fake by Parker. A lot of time to throw. Perfect strike. Got it out there to Brown. And Brown fighting for extra yards down near the 12.
All right, I want to show you now, Al Groh, defensive coordinator. This is not what he was trying to draw up on this play. Watch up front of Parker. Watch how you've got 6 guys, and they're all just standing at the line of scrimmage. There's no urgency. There's nobody coming off getting to Parker. Parker's not known to be a great scrambling quarterback. He's trying to throw the ball down the field. Don't worry about rush lanes. Get to Parker.
8 plays for Clemson, 99 yards in offense already. There was a little sense of urgency that time by Brad Jefferson, the leading tackler on this Georgia Tech defense, shot through and took down Ellington in the backfield.
Unique combination, offense and defense here at Georgia Tech, and that you obviously have the option offense with Paul Johnson, and now with Al Groh coming in here. He runs a 3-4, and he learned under Parcells and Belichick. It's a combination, New England Patriot, Pittsburgh Steelers defense. So you'll see that 3-man front, 4 linebackers, more athleticism.
Hopkins, Brown, and McNeil all in at wide receiver, all youngsters. Keeper by Parker. Got back near the original line of scrimmage. Solid tackle by Dominic Reese. Not to let him get any more than that.
Mike, you've called baseball games, haven't you, of Kyle Parker?
Absolutely. College World Series. Young man had 20 home runs and 20 touchdown passes in the same calendar year. That's amazing.
He had a home run trot going right there. He needs to run like he's going to second.
Parker, a first-round draft choice of the Colorado Rockies, decided to come back for what they assume is his last year in a football uniform as a sophomore. Good protection again. Parker all day. Now scrambles and just throws it away.
Al Groh was telling me, you know what, Craig, if we sit back in this football game defensively, we'll get smacked in the mouth. And I cleaned it up because he said it a different way, but in essence that's what he meant. You know, and you saw there the defensive line moving around, and the secondary with a nice job of coverage there. But Clemson's talented, and they're big up front, and they will pile drive you if you don't move.
Well, wherever Al anticipated being hit, he's already been hit. Catanzaro on for a 29-yard field goal try. But he missed it. 4 out of 7 this year. Missed a huge field goal against Auburn in that game they lost in overtime.
Well, Mike, you know what? 12 of the last 15 games with Clemson have been decided by 5 points or less. And you miss field goals like that, and that kind of keeps the game close.
Got to be a lonely feeling for a kicker like Chandler Catanzaro after missing a short field goal that would have given your team a 10-0 lead. The place kicking and punting game has not been too kind to Clemson in the last 5 or 6 years. They have missed an awful lot of kicks. End around to Melton, and then Melton wants to throw. And a flag down that's going to get an interference call. It was intended for Nesbitt, and Andre Branch was chasing him down the field. So if your quarterback can't complete one, why not throw one to your quarterback?
Pass interference on the defense. 15-yard penalty from the line of scrimmage. Automatic first down.
Well, obviously, Paul Johnson respects Clemson's defensive tackles and the power inside, so he's dialing up on first down. Another passing play, trick play. And surely enough, there is pass interference on the other end. But Paul Johnson's trying to loosen up and get the eyes working of that Clemson defensive line.
It's amazing. They have come out throwing football from scrimmage and with trick plays.
And they only have 34 completions on the season.
Yeah.
I mean, but he's dialing up what he thinks works right now.
Nesbitt. Smith taken down at the 40. That is their strength. The triple option. A gain of 25 yards that time for Orwin Smith.
Okay, now here's Nesbitt and how he works in open space. Watch when Nesbitt gets to the corner, and watch the blocking of number 20, Roddy Jones. They decide to leave the end man on the line of scrimmage alone, right? And that puts them in no man's land right there. So now number 20, Roddy Jones, is able to go down the field and block the safety. Safety really tardy getting to the game.
Allen, who was the second leading ground gainer on this club, fourth in the ACC and only a few yards behind Nesbitt, who was number 2. He was taken down this time by Brandon Thompson.
Mike, was that not a clear picture of today's terminology of playing in space?
Absolutely. Got to make that man make a decision. When he does, you either keep it or pitch it. And Nesbitt goes down, and he's taken down by Goodman, who was right on top of him. Our first chance today to check in with Robert Flores. Robert. It's a huge battle in the SEC. 3rd and long. Nesbitt to throw again. And off the chest of Stephen Hill. A catchable ball, even though he had to turn behind the defender.
Stephen Hill is the go-to guy if there is one on this offense. He leads the team with 11 receptions. I like the way he uses his body. He makes the adjustment on the ball in the air, but the ball just snuck up into his face mask.
He's the leading receiver in the entire year, Craig. He has 11 catches.
You know what, and Mike, I just can't get in the psyche. I'm going to change my mind up here and join Paul Johnson. I thought with 3rd and 10, it's a 2-down territory for Georgia Tech. His normal routine, run the ball.
It normally would be. You're absolutely right. Gilchrist is back. He's going to let this kick go. And it bounds into the end zone. It went right past Isaiah Johnson, who had perfect position to stop the ball at around the 1.
Just trying to hang in there. I mean, they're not making the plays. Georgia Tech just has to stay with composure. When you're on, and you make that play. And then Georgia Tech just can't pull it off right now.
Same way with the touchdown catch by Hill. Back-to-back plays where you need guys to make plays to be successful.
Conversely, if you're Clemson, you better take advantage of it when the other team's not performing.
Absolutely. Ellington for 7-8 yards. Well, for the 3rd week in a row, the #1 team in the country has a critical road challenge. ABC Saturday Night Football features DeMarco Murray and the Sooners trying to remain atop the BCS standings when they go to Columbia, Missouri, and face the undefeated and 11th-ranked Tigers. Saturday Night Football, presented by Southwest Airlines.
Well, after Texas losing to Iowa State today, I thought for a while Oklahoma might run Missouri out of there. Who knows?
Nothing is certain anymore. This one's incomplete and out of bounds.
See, Mike, I guess, Kyle Parker, he has talent, no question. But Dabo Swinney and the coaching staff really praise him and believe that he's a 3rd rounder perhaps next year, right? A 3rd-round quarterback moves his feet, buys more time, and finds an open receiver. He just didn't take advantage of 20-something yards to the left. Move over there. Let the receivers come to you.
So you think 3rd round might be a stretch at this point?
He just needs to worry about this round.
3rd and short. Floats this one down the sideline. Was he in bounds? They say he was. DeAndre Hopkins, like a shortstop, took it over Mario Butler.
Just a longer body. What a great catch by the true freshman Hopkins, who's really coming on in his first start. 7 catches for 46 yards against North Carolina. Has ability. That's why Sweeney and this staff have decided we're going to go with young receivers to help out our quarterback.
The previous play is under further review.
Now the crowd's upset because they're going to look at it again, but it looked at first blush like a perfectly good catch and a brilliant catch on top of it. If you can catch a football with one hand, you're pretty good.
And he had possession of it with his hand.
Sure did.
I mean, that one hand, I mean, that's clutching the football. I think that's a catch.
I can catch a baseball with one hand.
I can, as long as the glove's on my left hand.
It's a remarkable catch by DeAndre Hopkins.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. First down.
A true freshman out of Central South Carolina. On the other side, a sophomore, Jared Brown. When they go to a third receiver, it's a redshirt freshman, Bryce McNeil. They say all these kids have tremendous talent. They just need experience. A lot of times they're still not sure what they're doing. Well, Hopkins is pretty sure he can catch a ball with one hand. Parker out in the flat. McNeil trying to make a move. Will pick up a couple of yards before he's taken down by Sweeting on a solid tackle.
It's a hard throw. The previous throw was a nice throw because it was only one guy going to catch it, and that was his receiver, Hopkins. That particular throw there is like a toss sweep in an offense. You got to lead your receiver so he can get around the corner and miss that first blocker. It just kind of slowed him down when he had to do a 360.
The stunning part of this is Georgia Tech has had the ball only 2 minutes and 24 seconds so far in this game. They are an option offense that is used to dominating the time of possession. Parker with a quick out deal. The fullback made the catch down to the 43-yard line, and he's tackled by Abunaway. Got him around the neck and took him out of bounds. So Deal, who caught one earlier and had it wiped out by a penalty, makes his first catch of the season. He is some kind of blocker, though. 265 pounds. Third down for Parker and the Clemson offense. Draw play, Ellington. Boy, they're very patient on that play, aren't they? I mean, Parker is patient, and then the guy who gets the handoff, this case, Ellington, also very patient.
Yeah, patient, and then look at the line there that Al Groh decided to call up this time. It's a 3-4 defense. You're going to see 1, 2, 3, and there are your linebackers back there. That's a soft spot to run against. Clemson dialed up the right call for it.
Harper, number 8, is in at tailback. Nice pump fake and throw, and a terrific catch by Brown, who was spun around. He was wide open. If Parker had been able to throw to the inside instead of the outside, he'd still be running.
Yeah, this here is a great job of the play action and the pump and everything. And it's the right tempo of the ball. It's got to be firm before the safety can come back down across it, but certainly that's 2 now. He's got to lead. He's got to get the ball out in front of his receivers.
First down at the 25. Blitz coming. They pick it up. Harper did a great job. Allen, the tight end, he's out of bounds. That was a great block by Jamie Harper. He stood in there and picked up one of the blitzers and just sacrificed his body to protect his quarterback.
We heard it in our headset, didn't we? I mean, that was the 235 pounds thumping, but yeah, when you're talking about 235 and you can sit in there, this will get pizza from your quarterback for you. Stayed down with him, but I mean, he slowed and did his job.
It could have been ribs, we heard. Harper. Big hole off the right side down to the 21-yard line. It'll bring up a 3rd and 6. Jefferson in on another stop.
Big 73 left guard David Smith pulling around there, leading the way for Harper, and that was just power football. And here we are again with another third down play. Now, I want to mention this now, that with Parker not leading and these receivers not being able to turn and run on rhythm, they're young, inexperienced receivers. Parker is getting used to them. Parker didn't play a lot of football. He's been thinking baseball, so there's just time to get the rhythm together.
Maybe one of the reasons with all those young guys where they've been so poor on third down, until today at least. And this one is incomplete. Thrown in desperation as Parker was under a lot of pressure, and they'll send on the field goal unit again. A chance for Catanzaro to make up for the earlier miss. This will be a longer try.
Left side of the offensive line, you see the late rush there that comes from Jefferson off the edge. You know, they'd rushed 3 the previous time. That time they bring 4, but it's from a different position, different look, kind of an NFL look.
38-yard try from Catanzaro, who has missed from 29. But not this time. Clemson dominating this game against its ACC rival, the Tigers, with a 10-0 lead. Millions of people watch the family go from ordinary to extraordinary, and the adventure is just beginning. Michael Chiklis stars in ABC Superpowered series No Ordinary Family, Tuesday at 8/7 Central. And this is no ordinary football game right now. Clemson with a 10-0 lead over a Georgia Tech team that is 119th in the country in passing and has come out throwing. Go figure. Bostic and Peoples are deep. I think you get some pretty good odds at Georgia Tech. We'll go back to the traditional option offense on this possession. Bostic to the 27, a flag down at the end of the play.
Holding number 44, the return team.
And this will back
the 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
Thanks to our friends at EA Sports, Craig now breaks down Clemson's defense and how they need to force the issue in today's James game.
And Mike, that comes from the defensive line. They've got to disrupt and put pressure on Nesbitt to make a decision quickly. And then you have to have inside-out support. When the ball is pitched, someone, whether it's linebacker or safety, has got to be out on the pitch back. Now, like you just said, Mike, I'm expecting this Georgia Tech football team that averages 321 yards rushing a game to get it going on the ground, to challenge and accept that pressure from Clemson.
Allen, the B-back, straight up the middle, a huge gap for him. And Allen out to the 42. That is more like it for what the Georgia Tech fans have come to expect. A burst of 25 up the middle for big Anthony Allen.
Watch base blocking. Guard on defensive tackles. The center goes up to the middle linebacker, and the linebacker 42, Hawkins, just doesn't recognize where the ball goes. Gets lost in the traffic.
Nesbitt, bad pitch. Recovered by Georgia Tech as Jones got back on it at the 30-yard line. That's a poor pitch by Nesbitt.
All right, so here we go. Force the issue, right? We just showed you on EA Sports what we're talking about. Look at the pressure that's going to come here and disrupt the play. Hard to the inside. Moore does his job, takes 2 guys out, adds a pressure from someone else in the defense.
Those are very shallow angles by those A-backs, aren't they? This time, Peoples. I mean, you go back when everybody used to run the option. It looked like that option guy was a lot deeper and you had a better angle. This is almost a lateral pass.
You know, they're trying to get it so that when the catch is made from the ball carrier, that he's up the field. He's got that yard and a half up there. But it's mighty dangerous when the defense forces the issue quickly. It's out of rhythm. It's like a pass. It's just a sideways pass.
And it's a lot harder for a quarterback to execute that accurately. Nesbitt under pressure. Got away. And throws one up for grabs, incomplete. The pressure was coming from Miguel Chavis, who just ripped through there and chased Nesbitt back inside the 20.
You think Kevin Steele, the defensive coordinator, and the Clemson staff will take 3rd and long all day?
Oh, yeah. Nesbitt is 0 for 5 throwing the ball and has 2 carries for -10. Kevin Steele will take that all day long. Gilchrist is deep. Back at the 15, makes the first man miss, makes the second man miss, and then is spun down as he crossed the 25. A nice 11-yard return after a beautiful 50-yard punt. Let's take a look at today's Good Hands play, brought to you by Allstate.
Mike, you mind if we call it good hand?
Good hand.
It's a hand play. We may have to run another one for you today, but obviously a very nice catch by the true freshman DeAndre Hopkins.
So Clemson will start this time from its own 26. They have moved the ball every time they've had it. The only reason they didn't score on one possession was a missed field goal. Ellington. Boy, there's been room to run up the middle on that Georgia Tech defense.
Yeah, the Georgia Tech linebackers are just getting dominated, and they're going to have to find a way to get off those blocks, and they're very short in stature. But you see the left guard just swallowing up Burnett 40, and the ball carriers are talented here. They're going to find the holes, and they're quick and on you before you know it.
And Burnett is one of those guys who's only 220 pounds as an inside linebacker. Look at the domination in the stats. And he's one of those linebackers that forward wall has got to keep blockers off of. If you have a 300-pound lineman against a 222-pound linebacker, guess who's going to win most of the time?
Yeah, leverage just sounds really nice, but you're getting smothered while you're down below. This Clemson team, though, they had to figure out how to replace C.J. Spiller. He averaged about 87 a game. And so far, Andre Ellington has come in, and he's at 79 a game. And along with a combination of Jamie Harper, it's a solid 1-2 punch.
This one will get him about 4 and will be the last play of the first quarter, as Ellington has had a big first period of play here at home. And Clemson totally dominating the first 15 minutes. They're driving again, already up 10-0. As we start the second quarter, Clemson has the ball at its own 40-yard line, already up 10-0. Parker has Ellington behind him, chooses to throw instead, and completes it near midfield to Hopkins. Every time we come to Clemson, I am struck by how sheer the climb has to be up to the second deck. I don't want to see my team that badly. That's almost a 90-degree angle straight down. No, thank you.
Give me a parachute.
Yeah, I'm not going. It is a first down for the Tigers at midfield. Ellington. Here's the end around instead after the fake to Brown. And Brown picks up 7. Let's check in with Robert Flores. Thank you, Robert. Georgia Tech clinging to life right now. They're just being muscled out of the way on both sides of the ball by Clemson. Ellington. Nice cut. Ellington, another great it to 5 and whipped. A 42-yard sprint by Ellington, who now has 120 yards rushing in the first half. Craig, you would understand this as well as anybody. The vision it takes to make that first cut.
And I'm going to draw up for you here after the extra point. What happened? Georgia Tech's defense guessed wrong. They moved their personnel to the wrong side of the field.
Catanzaro for the point after. It is all Clemson, and I mean all. 17-0. Over there trying to inspire that Georgia Tech defense. They've been waxed so far. 17-0 here at Clemson. Georgia Tech has made 2 plays on offense, a 25-yard run, a 24-yard run. That's it. Bostic tripped shy of the 25, and there's a flag down. Special teams have been killing Georgia Tech. They have 40 yards in penalties already. 2 15-yarders and a 10-yard hold. Is it another one?
Doing a return, holding number 12 of the return team. That's a 10-yard penalty, first down.
All right, here's what I'm talking about, Mike, on the previous touchdown run. Georgia Tech decides to walk their linebackers up right before the snap of the ball. It's as if they had a tendency they were trying to play against. Look, there are only 2 guys over on the right side of the offensive line. And then you've got linebackers hustling, trying to get over to cover those gaps at the snap of the ball. You can't do that. That's bad defense.
50 yards in penalties against Georgia Tech special teams already. Allen hit, shakes the tackle, and gets it up to the 17-yard line.
At this point in the game, the numbers are crazy. When you talk about Clemson, 11 minutes and 56 minutes in time of possession. That transfers out to 44 minutes overall in the game. 233 yards. They're on pace for 901.
And Georgia Tech's on pace for its worst offensive performance in a long time. They just haven't been able to do much of anything. Nesbitt on the keeper. And got to the 19-yard line, and that's it. Quandran Christian makes the tackle.
Should have kicked the ball out there. Nesbitt's not in a groove right now. It's just this whole Georgia Tech football team playing at a gear less than what Clemson is.
Third and about 3. This is a running down for Nesbitt. Nesbitt is swallowed up by Goodman. And they'll have to punt it away again.
Now the strategy now is to let Goodman go and to be read. They're thinking that Goodman at the right side of the offensive line is going to come down hard inside. Goodman didn't. He stayed outside and took the quarterback.
And that's a mismatch. He is a good enough athlete. He can stay with Nesbitt on that play.
You got to establish the fullback in the option offense first and foremost all the time. Or fake it.
And they will have the first down out at the 42, a gain of 22 yards for Lucas Cox, who is the backup fullback. There's a huge call.
Maybe that sparks this football team and picks them up. Last year in the regular season, first meeting between these 2 schools, Georgia Tech jumped out and was smacking Clemson. Clemson came back and got in the game. It was a special teams play last year on a faked field goal for a touchdown pass that got Georgia Tech going.
Allen will carry it to midfield.
So there
this
you
is
go.
basically a fullback spot. What they call the B-back. The A-backs are the guys on the wing. They're the little guys, the speed burners. But the majority of the offense comes from Nesbitt and Allen. Allen again. Just sheer power down to the 44-yard line. Stopped again by Goodman.
They have to force Clemson to start playing single gap individual roles again. You know, right now they have not had the middle of the field with that B-back and Allen running up inside. And just like you saw earlier on third down when 97 Goodman came off and got the quarterback, the inside was wide open. You got to establish the middle of the field.
Earls. Toss out on a hitch to the flanker. He's taken out of bounds to the 40-yard line. His first catch and the first completion for quarterback Joshua Nesbitt.
That puts him, what, 35 for the season? And Corey Earls over the last 4 games has 5 of those. So maybe Earls is going to step up. Georgia Tech sorely needs a receiver to become a go-to guy.
And he's a converted defensive back. Peoples was the man in motion, and Allen won't get much, maybe a yard. It'll bring up a 3rd and 5 as Hawkins was in on the stop.
This is okay. This is a successful play for Georgia Tech. Watch the number of Clemson defenders in the middle of the field. You see that right there? There's 3 around that carrier, right? So there's somewhere on the outside. There's somebody out now that you can get out one-on-one in space with the option.
And they have to be thinking 2 downs to get this here. They have gone for it on 4th down many, many times this year. Smith on the toss, gets a block on the outside, has the 1st down. Good block by Roddy Jones, one of the little guys, 5'9", 200 pounds.
All right, this here it is. Kyle Parker will throw it overhanded to his receivers out there and lead them. This here is Joshua Nesbitt that throws it underhand out there. It's the same play, just a different offense. You're trying to get speed to the corner like a screen.
This will be the 10th play of the drive. The other 3 drives had only 10 plays altogether. Nesbitt under pressure again. Runs away from it and salvages the play as Clemson. That was just a jailbreak. Everybody came through. I thought it was going to be a screen pass. They all came free so quickly.
Highly against Paul Johnson's tendencies, throwing so many times on 1st and 10. Got to let it go now, but he felt the collapse on the play side. Big 98 coming over there. Wasn't going to let him set his pads. Brandon Thompson forced him to turn back to the left, disrupted the play.
Allen pushes the pile. And again, it'll be about a 3rd and 5. Now, the one guy, it's a shame we don't get to see perform more in a normal capacity is Daquan Bowers, number 93 for Clemson, because he is a brilliant defensive end who leads the nation in tackles for loss and sacks. And he's really not in a position to make a lot of plays against his defense. But he is a brilliant defensive end. Peoples on the toss. That was a heck of a catch of that pitch. Brewer came up to make the tackle in the backfield, and it's going to be 4th and long.
Mike, the pitch forced the runner to stay outside. The hole was on the inside, but the ball was out there. He had to catch it. He didn't have time to tuck it and see the block, read it to get up inside.
And they will go from the 35-yard line. They need to reach just inside the 24 for a 1st down. Knocked away, almost intercepted by McDaniel. If the ball hangs up at all, McDaniel is going to be around it.
He almost made the good hands play right there, didn't he?
Yes, he did. This is the SO Club that grew out of a gas station. It's the #1 sports bar in the South, according to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. And a neat place.
They have to try that tonight.
Why not?
Go get a little petroleum.
I'll pass on the SO. I'll have a cheeseburger. Clemson takes over at its own 35, dominating this game. Parker throws to Allen, but he's out of bounds. Let's take a look at our Pacific Life game summary, and it has been all Clemson against Georgia Tech. The Yellow Jackets offense only 92 yards rushing, 4 yards passing, count them, 4. And the 92 have not been terribly significant. Andre Ellington has had a couple of huge runs, one of 55, one of 43, make it 42 officially, for 2 touchdowns. At a field goal, the Tigers are up 17-0. Georgia Tech #2 in the country in rushing, but not today. Parker short set, completes it out to the 40-yard line. Brandon Ford, a young man they have moved to the tight end spot from wide receiver. One of those tweeners, about 220 pounds. They think he's got a future there.
Yeah, and a lot of upside. And when you're going against this 3-4 defense and he runs that route right there, linebackers trying to hug him, settles in, and Parker delivers the blow.
3rd and 5. The 4 wide receivers, and Parker didn't like what he saw. And with the play clock running down, he has to burn a timeout. 6:50 to go first half. Clemson on top at home by 17.
Big difference in this game, Mike. I said coming in would be 3rd down. So far today, Clemson, they're getting it done on 3rd downs. Georgia Tech not. They're 1 of 6.
4-man rush. Parker throws complete. He's got a first down to Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins brought down by his opposite number, Rod Sweeting, but it's in Georgia Tech territory for a first down.
I like the way Hopkins, the true freshman on the right side of the offensive line here, how he'll work to get open, and then kind of a back shoulder throw from Parker, and he comes down with a play. Again, now they're 4 of 7 on 3rd downs.
Parker somehow got away and got it on the little pitch to Harper. How's that for thinking? It looked like he switched hands.
I guess sometimes it pays to be watching the game, because that's what Harper was doing. Harper's going to block, and he's just kind of hanging around watching the game. Hey, give it to me. And I think he hollered at him, give it to me.
Watch him switch the ball to his left hand. Saw Sonny Jurgensen complete one behind his back with his left hand once. Don't think I'll ever see that again, but that was pretty good. Let's shake him with Robert Flores. Robert. All right, Robert, thank you very much. This performance here by Clemson, one of total dominance so far against Georgia Tech. And the Clemson fans will be looking for a flag on this and how to get it, but they will not. Sweeting was covering Brown and just ran right up into his chest.
Yeah, you know what, though? I think this was a nice job of Al Groh dialing up a little interior blitz. Parker threw the ball just a little short. He throws it over the shoulder of his receiver. The receiver tried to come back for it. I'm not sure that the contact was made, though, before the ball got there. It depends on what school you go to.
Whoa. So Clemson will have to give it up and kick it into the end zone. Georgia Tech will be able to start from the 20. A punt of 44, but a net of only 24. Tech looking for that offensive spark. Can they find it? If you just joined us, This comes as a little bit of a shock. Clemson on top of Georgia Tech. 17-0. It could be worse. They missed a field goal. Georgia Tech has been unable to do anything offensively. Allen for only a couple of yards. As a defense, you don't get to practice against this offense very often. I'd say Clemson made the most of its reps this week because they've done a brilliant job.
But their coach needs to remind them of how it was last season when this first conference game when they're playing down at Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech up 24-0. Clemson came back, took the lead 27-24. So you got to play the game. This is a tight series typically.
Flag.
False start, number 61 of the offense. 5-yard penalty, second down.
Penalties have also hurt Georgia Tech, particularly on special teams. That's going to be against Phil Smith, the right tackle. 5 flags, 55 yards.
And you know, it's not a passing offense, but it is a big strike offense. This team has the ability, when they execute the option properly, to take it the distance.
Nesbitt changing the play. Smith on the toss. Got a great block on the corner across the 30, 35, knocked out of bounds. Jones got the block, or Smith got the block, and Jones was able to turn the corner. Watch him upend the defender.
Yeah, so twice now we have seen the speed toss getting the ball carriers to the corner, and a beautiful job. Safety late to the dance, and they know how to arc block and roll them up here at Georgia Tech.
Allen shook off the first hit, then spun down, a gain of about 3 yards. Now for today's Aflac trivia question. I got this one in our production meeting last night, so you've got a shot at this. What college football legend coached at both Clemson and Georgia Tech? My point is, if I got it, you can get it.
Yeah, but I think you filed a complaint with management that said they were too hard the week before.
They were too hard. I couldn't get it after I read the answer. Nesbitt, it's the end around. Hill to midfield and pushed out of bounds. Well, they're pulling everything out of the playbook here in the first half. We've already had a long end around pass to the quarterback.
Well, they need to keep this chapter going, because the chapter of this playbook seems to have some success with it. But a nice job, a very soft, difficult pitch by Nesbitt. No Stephen Hill getting around the corner, getting all he can.
Nesbitt wants to throw. And throws it perfectly and gets a big gain to Orland Smith. He is drilled by Meeks, but held on.
I like that. Just about the time that you think Joshua Nesbitt has no ability to throw the football, he hits his A-back. That's the slot back that's offset kind of just behind the tackle going up the side.
Peoples to the 21.
Well, over the years, he's been really consistent. Hasn't he, Mike? That's consistent.
They've always been in the top 4 at Georgia Tech and Navy, and they've always been in the bottom 5 in passing. But it's worked. And Paul Johnson very dedicated to it. Nesbitt throws. Had Roddy Jones out on the pattern, but Jones got caught up in traffic, and Nesbitt's pass was overthrown. One of the reasons Paul Johnson said he came to Georgia Tech from Navy was to prove this offense could work at this level as well. Not just Navy, and not taking anything away from the midshipmen, but playing at maybe a higher level, 11, 12 games a year. He even contends it would work in the NFL.
If nothing happens here, we'll continue that conversation.
Nesbitt on 3rd and inches. Close.
Well, they've averaged about 8.2 to go on third downs to this point, which is why they've not been real successful. 3rd and 1, 3rd and short. That's where Nesbitt's had their number in the past. Nesbitt just continues to move the chains on 3rd and short against Clemson's defense. Patient there, allowed the play to develop on the outside.
Down to the 19-yard line. Jones on that toss again, trying to take advantage of his speed. And Marcus Gilchrist makes the tackle.
You know, and this against, we've seen a number of first down or second and real short passes by Paul Johnson today out of character for him. But I think that is all a reflection of the respect for Clemson's defense and what they're doing.
Absolutely. There's no other reason to come out and do it if you don't have that feeling. Nesbitt counter. Breaks one tackle inside the 15 to about the 14-yard line. Caught from behind by Rennie Moore.
Rennie Moore just saved a big play.
Yes, he did.
Their second timeout of the half. 30 seconds.
Got a timeout on the field and give us a chance to go back to our Aflac trivia question, which was, what college football legend coached at both Clemson and Georgia Tech? He moved from Clemson to Atlanta, and it was John Heisman. Spent 16 years at Georgia Tech after a couple of seasons here at Clemson. And, of course, the man the Heisman Trophy is named after. Let's go back to Paul Johnson's offense for a second. Our buddy Lee Corso was one of the people who always contended the option offense would work in the NFL. And he and I discussed this at length several times for a couple of seasons. To me, you need 6 quarterbacks because you're going to be carrying them off on stretchers if you run this offense in the pros.
And then you'll need 6 more for the second half of the season.
That's right.
This offense works. He's proven that. Paul Johnson's success here at this school is unbelievable. So there's no doubting that it'll work in the ACC.
3rd and 3. Nesbitt with a long signal count. Wants to throw. Got it to Hill. Hill has a first down just inside the 10-yard line. Time a factor here. 49 seconds to go in the half.
Corey Earls having a chance to get one-on-one and get the first down. I mean, this is if you're a running football team, that's just as good as a power play.
Nesbitt back up the middle. These plays take a lot of time if you want to run them. You're down to 35 seconds. Christian makes another good tackle. And they've got to use a timeout. 35 seconds to go first half. Back after this. Georgia Tech with its best drive of the day. Play 13 coming.
Mike, I liked how decisive and quick Paul Johnson was with his final timeout. He didn't dilly-dally over there thinking about it. If you're going to use it now. Get after it.
Situation is 2nd and goal. 35 seconds to go. You could afford to run it once and still get off another play. Nesbitt throws a slant, tipped in the air, knocked down and dropped. Could have been intercepted so easily by Meeks. And that ball was in the air forever. It looked like Malachi Goodman was the man who knocked it up.
Yeah, just watch it. Watch the eyes of Nesbitt and the direction of his shoulder. There's never any kind of wondering if you're on defense where he's going with it, right? He's looking there. You've got a defensive lineman. You've got 4 in the secondary. Everybody's lined up for some action.
There's no doubt he's locked on. Nesbitt again looking left. Throws that way too high. Really never had a chance for Tyler Melton to pass 2 feet over his head. They'll have to send on the field goal team. Of all the strengths in this offense, this is one of the weaknesses. You get down here where there is not much room to throw, you have a quarterback who doesn't throw very often. You're out of timeouts and the clock is ticking. That's a bad combination.
Yeah, the clock being the ultimate defender.
26-yard field goal attempt for Scott Blair. And he gets Georgia Tech on the board with 23 seconds to go in the first half. And if you're a Clemson coach, you will take giving up a field goal with 23 seconds to go in the half against Georgia Tech. In the regular season last year, Georgia Tech's Scott Blair had a big impact on this game. In the first quarter, off a fake field goal, the kicker threw a touchdown pass to Demaryius Thomas. Then with just under a minute left in the game, Blair breaks a tie with a 36-yard field goal. That won the game for the Yellow Jackets, 30-27. That was a complete bummer for the Clemson Tigers.
I announced that game. It was a fun game. It was 24-zip. Then all of a sudden there's Clemson on top, 27-24. And we sent that young man, I believe we autographed and signed some stuff and sent it to him. He was discouraged.
I hope it helped.
Yeah, he's probably still upset.
He was heartbroken, obviously.
He's not feeling better still to this point. But yeah, watch this half here. He's thinking, hey, we got a turnaround game.
Dabo Swinney would love that first win over Georgia Tech. He would take his team to 4-3, and mathematically at least keep them alive in their division in the ACC. And a Pooch kick it. And Clemson is going to start from its own 34-yard line. The time is running out. Jones on the return. Marquand took enough time off the clock to get it down to 14 seconds.
At this point, though, Paul Johnson at least feeling like he's in the game. 17-3. They go down and have some success. It's all about the defense. This defense at Georgia Tech has to come out and find a way to slow down the ground game, and in particular Andre Ellington.
Well, he's going to be able to go in the locker room and tell his team in the last two drives we've averaged 12.4 yards a carry. So things are looking up.
And Georgia Tech on offense, they've got to get to third and shorter, not 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9.
Parker wants to throw. And Georgia Tech wasn't buying the tight formation. They did a good job of getting back on defense. Brown was double covered. Mario Butler was the guy who got a hand on it for the Jackets. So they tried to cross him up with a tight formation, and then Parker with play action and tried to throw the bomb.
Yeah, this is a great day for football, and Clemson, what a campus and a stadium. It's everything that you would hope for on a Saturday afternoon.
At the half, our score, the homestanding Tigers 17, Georgia Tech 3. When we come back, the studio catches you up on everything in halftime after these messages. Welcome back to Clemson, South Carolina, where the Tigers are leading the Jackets of Georgia Tech 17-3. Clemson got off to a really quick start, and if it wasn't for that last drive by Georgia Tech, which resulted in the field goal, could have been an ugly halftime ceremony for the guys from Atlanta.
No ceremony at all, and that goes back to the first touchdown run by Ellington, 55 yards, right after the roughing the punter. So, Clemson had some opportunities. They took advantage of it. And for me in the second half, this is about third downs. On first and second, Georgia Tech has to have success because they had none on third downs in the first half. That really hurt them.
And if Georgia Tech, we've already seen it, is in a position where they have to throw the football, they're in a lot of trouble. And Clemson would like to put them in that spot. Tech will get the ball to start the third quarter. Bostic and Peoples are deep. Spencer Benton to kick it off. Bostic from the 5. And again, stop shy of the 25-yard line. Let's take a look at our Pacific Life game summary. And some unusual numbers for Georgia Tech. 146 yards rushing, only 26 passing. They average 85 a game passing, which is next to last in the entire country.
It doesn't seem that close, though. The way this first half went, it seemed all Clemson. And so I think Georgia Tech has to feel relatively good that they're even close in this game.
Allen, the B-back, maybe 2 yards, stuffed by Jarvis Jenkins.
You're not going to push those big guys out of the hole too much in this ball game because they're 300 plus. They're active. They're very strong. The guards at Georgia Tech just have to get on them and hold them as best they can, stay neutral and not allow penetration.
Nesbitt. Smith on the toss, got outside 35, out of bounds to 39. This is a big game for both of these ball clubs. Georgia Tech could stay within a half game of Virginia Tech's lead in the Coastal Division. For Clemson, it looks like it's do or die. Either go to 2-2 and stay in it with some hope with Florida State game coming up, or go to 1-3 in the conference and really forget about it. Jones to the 46-yard line.
Yeah, this is a typical Paul Johnson called series here. You're coming out, you're seeing the fullback on the first play, then you see a little option to the wide side of the field. You come back with a speed pitch toss to the right. I mean, they're moving it around, working inside and out.
2nd and 4. Allen will be about a yard shy of a first down at the 49-yard line. As they use that power, Jenkins makes the tackle after he gained 3.
You know, talk about these third downs and Georgia Tech and what they did. You know, getting the 3rd and 1 is not the problem. The 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3. It's been the 3rd and 8 or 3rd and 9 that really hamstrung Georgia Tech's offense in the first half.
Nesbitt, and will have the first down at the Clemson 47-yard line. They're using Andre Branch, number 40, for Clemson. Normally a defensive end, sort of a hybrid kind of player. They are using him at a linebacker spot right now because Brandon May, the normal outside linebacker on that side of the field, is out with a calf injury, hurt a week ago.
And Branch did a nice job. We saw him in the first half, dropped into coverage, got into the passing lane, and had a batted ball.
It's the fullback, Allen, straight up the middle. Well, the one thing Georgia Tech has not been able to do so far today is get Nesbitt on track. He only has 4 yards rushing for the entire game, Craig.
Yeah, and watch the middle there. The reason this play is successful, Georgia Tech's offensive line does indeed eliminate the push inside. At least they stayed on and harassed those 2 defensive tackles, but it's a heck of a nice job by Bedford 79 of just keeping them out a little bit.
He just cleaned house at the linebacker level. Nesbitt on the pitch, this time to Peoples. And Peoples breaks the tackle, gets down around the 12-yard line. They'll mark him out back near the 13.
We've seen this before. If you're thinking, if you're a Clemson fan, that you have no pursuit from the inside, the nice, soft, catchable pitch by Nesbitt, but you see all of the Clemson defenders trailing and late to the corner. Not out there. I mean, hey, and the big 90 Brown, he might smack Nesbitt okay, but that's expected when you're running the option.
7 plays, 62 yards rushing on this drive. Nesbitt keeps to around the 8-yard line.
That's the first time I've seen that play there. That quarterback where he fakes it to his B-back, going up inside quick, and then immediately gets up into the line. Nesbitt does that extremely well. He's a powerful runner. He's good inside with his vision and his feet.
Well, he's averaging over 92 yards a game rushing. That's second in the ACC. Montel Harris of Boston College is the only one in the conference that has a better average than he does. Peoples on the toss, and Clemson covered that one beautifully. Stopped them at the 7. They need to go to about the 3.5 for a first down.
They did have success on first down. Therefore, the short gain on second allows them to at least stay in that manageable 3rd and short that they've been good at converting today.
You think this is 4-down territory?
I do. I think they come out and it's one of those deals. You've got momentum right now. You're running the ball well. I'd be surprised if Paul Johnson isn't thinking that way.
Smith and Jones are the A-backs. The guys on the wing. Nesbitt keeps nowhere to go. He made a good decision not to pitch it because the pitch man was covered. But Carrico Hawkins racked him up. Now it's 4th down as they move it back to have to go field goal.
This is where you have great discipline on defense and a solid result. Instead of 42, the linebacker falling inside, Hawkins stays out there and he's got his guy. I'll do my job. You take care of yours inside.
And Quandon Christian, number 34, did a great job on the pitch man. He was right in his grill. And they have to go for another 26-yard field goal. Blair is 2 for 2 from that distance, and Georgia Tech has cut the lead to 11. Joshua Nesbitt just led his team on a 66-yard drive that resulted in a field goal that cuts the lead to 11. But they need more than that. And Andre Ellington is deep to return the kickoff. From the 5. Ellington lost the ball, and Georgia Tech had the first shot at it. And somehow they got it back. Lucas Cox, who made the big play on the fake punt, came in and knocked it loose from Ellington.
Just the strip from the side. How you don't come up with this ball. When that little thing gets to squirting down there, it's almost like a whole bucket of Crisco oils on it.
And the nasty things that can happen at the bottom of the pile. Somehow Clemson comes out with the football. What an enormous break that would have been for Georgia Tech, especially considering how much they've hurt themselves on special teams this game. Ellington has a tighter grip on it this time, takes it up to the 34-yard line before inside linebacker Brad Jefferson, the team's leading tackler, makes the stop.
You have to have great effort to recover one that you've dropped. And Clemson just gets in there and fights for it and slips around. And like you said, Mike, that was the kind of break that Georgia Tech needed. They haven't had a big break yet in this game.
Parker, good protection. Now he's flushed and throws incomplete off the hands of Jerron Brown.
Well, I would say right now that Parker has not found that step and that groove that he was hoping to find to start this second half of the season for them.
He's facing a 3rd and 6 right now.
And it'll be interesting to see what Al Groh, defensive coordinator, does. Now, early in the first half, he was going with a 3-man rush, and once at the end of the second quarter came with someone off the corner.
Well, to your point, Craig, Parker is only 11 out of 20 for 100 yards today. Completes this to his favorite target, Dwayne Allen, the big tight end, and he's got the first down. Isaiah Johnson made the tackle. Allen coming in had 19 catches, number 1 on the stat sheet for the Clemson Tigers. That was his first grab today.
Now he's on his way to leading this team in receptions, which would be the first tight end to do that if he ends up the season since 1974 that a tight end had led the team in receiving.
Well, they really like this guy. He is explosive. I think he has a huge upside. He's only a sophomore. This time the catch made by Hopkins. That's 4 for him. You can see the numbers on Parker. This is where his season took off after 6 games last year. You can see his numbers a little bit better this season after 6 games, but certainly comparable to what they were a year ago. He exploded in the second half of the season last season. Good play fake. Plenty of time. Throws underneath. Hawkins. 40, 35. Got a block. Runs over a man at the 15-yard line. Mario Butler makes the tackle on Jamie Harper after a gain of 35.
So watch Harper out of the backfield, how he just kind of fakes like he's going to block, and he just moves in there. He's at tailback. 8 goes left side of the offensive line, wiggles through the linebacker, loses him. 51's got to stick over there with him. You've got to have someone in coverage of the tailback.
He'll stay on the field at the tailback position. And they play fake it to him again. And throw to Deal, the fullback. He's down around the 11-yard line. Nobody wants to see him in the open field at 265 pounds.
Well, twice now we've seen him over there, though. And the defender's going right for the shin.
Oh, yes, sir.
Now nothing unique has happened in the passing game in this game that Al Groh and Georgia Tech wasn't expecting. Short, underneath passing. Even though Parker has plenty of time that he could throw it deep, he's just beating him with the underneath stuff.
Ellington is back in at tailback. And he'll get the carry. Ellington to the 10.
Now obviously here a field goal, if they can hold him to that, would keep it at a two possession game. And it would be a big plus for Georgia Tech's defense. They have not been able to come up with that big play like on the kick return following the score. They just can't make the play.
3rd and 6 for Dabo Swinney's offense. Parker with time goes out in the flat. Ellington, touchdown. He just ate up Mario Butler, the corner, who could not handle him one-on-one. Well, a little swing pass to Ellington under other circumstances might not be the greatest play, but that one worked beautifully.
And you know, inside coverage to the out never made it. You give one-on-one in open space with Ellington, he's going to beat most anyone in this country.
That's his 3rd touchdown of the game. 2 rushing on long runs. And that catch. Parker hit 5 straight on that drive after missing his opening throw. Clemson answers Georgia Tech's field goal with a touchdown, and Dabo's up 24-6. That's the Denver Downs Corn Maze in the Clemson, South Carolina area. A lot of activities for the kids. I guess this is the way they used to do it before video games and computers and the internet and all that good stuff. Go down to the Corn Maze.
Same results, right?
Bostic and Peoples are deep. Bostic. Oh, hello. He is just crushed by Rashard Hall, the safety. Ouch. First in line for the cold tub. You know how much that hurts, Craig.
Yeah, that's why I'm not talking.
Nesbitt, short stop, short set, and wants to throw to Hill on first down, but throws wide.
Mike, let's go back to that touchdown. I'm going to show you how Ibunaway, the linebacker, his job is going to be to get to the outside. And he gets knocked down in the process. He's not able to get over there to cover in the flats. So little things that really make a huge difference in a game. It gave Parker time to find him, and that's one-on-one heaven.
That first down throw was something Nesbitt needs to complete. And he's wrapped up this time by Courtney Brown. Caught him in the backfield. Let's go to Robert Flores. And Robert, we saw them against Maryland where they did not play well at all. Nesbitt, third down, has to throw. And somehow, what a great catch. He fit the ball in there to Allen, who normally doesn't come out of the backfield at all. That's only his second catch of the entire season. And it went right through the hands of Jonathan Willard.
And this is just an awesome job of fighting and understanding the situation. You have to make a play to pick your football team up. Nesbitt and Allen finding a way to keep it going.
Back to the ground, Nesbitt. And it looks Clemson has made up his mind that Nesbitt is not going to be the guy that beats him in this option offense.
Now, there's a difference here tonight in that the Clemson linebackers are taking advantage of those defensive tackles really going in and hammering Allen on most of the time when he's faking inside, right? They're coming off, they're there, they're looking and waiting for Nesbitt.
He needed 44 yards rushing coming in to break Clemson's Woody Dantzler's record for a quarterback. He only has 8 yards net in this game. Now he goes on the pitch to Jones, and Jones doesn't have a chance. And that Clemson defense is flying around now. Daquan Bowers came firing through. The first man that messed up the timing.
Yeah, the other side. I'm sorry, he's on the other side of the line of scrimmage. Daquan Bowers, 93. He's been quiet, but he shows you his vision, his speed, doing his job, making a play in the open field.
Third and long. Nesbitt short set out in the flat. And they're going to get a first down out of this as Smith able to go down the sideline. Makes only his second catch of the day. Boy, he just got lost out in the flat.
Hawkins, the linebacker on the inside, just lost him. And you know, when you're playing against this defense, you're sitting there and you're like, okay, I'm running, and I'm not expecting a pass, and you stop counting receivers.
Nesbitt again. And a poor throw that time as Smith was open in the flat. That's the second series in a row. They have started with a pass to the outside where the guy was wide open and Nesbitt missed it.
At the end of the day, though, they've converted a couple of big third downs to keep this drive alive and really on a drive here where they have to answer.
Yes, they do. They're down by 18. Allen straight up the middle, breaks one tackle and gets to the 26 before he's stopped by Carrico Hawkins, the middle linebacker.
You know what, we have said it now a couple of times where they would be thinking 4 downs, but on third down, Nesbitt has lost yards, and it's changed their mindset.
It sure has. It's a great call. Now it's 3rd and 4. Cox comes in at the fullback spot, or the B-back. Gets a couple, but he's cut down by Daquan Bowers again.
But a completely different circumstance now at 4th and 1. Coming into the game, 12 of 22 on 4th down conversions. Most of those 12 converted were short distances.
Cox, who is the bigger running back at 245, will stay in to give them that option.
Daquan Bowers is up top. Here's your big guy right up there. He's a great player.
And Nesbitt has to burn a timeout.
Timeout, Georgia Tech.
Use him in the 3rd quarter and can go back to burn you in the 4th. Georgia Tech trying to fire up the troops on a big 4th down. 4th down and about 2. Allen is back in at the B-back. Toss to Smith. He's got the 1st down and more. So they see where the defense is stacked inside on 4th and 2, and they go with a quick toss sweep and get it.
Here's what I think they were doing. They were finding Daquan Bowers, and they were saying, okay, let's go the other direction, boys. I like our chances over there, away from a great player.
Good thinking. The All-Americans on one side, let's go to the other side.
I used to be a running back. I knew where the great ones were. Run away from those guys. But that's the beauty of this offense. They have the ability at the line of scrimmage, because of those wing sets, those 2 backs out there, to call it either direction.
Spot the ball just inside the 12. 2nd and 9. Peoples and Jones are the wings. Nesbitt, after checking the defense, calls out what he wants. And Allen stuffed. He got absolutely nothing on that play. Jarvis Jenkins, who's made some solid plays inside today, was in on that stop.
Coming into the game, they were 20 of 29 in the red zone, scoring touchdowns. And 0 for 1 so far early in this one here, but I like on this call here the fake to the fullback with the quarterback going up right behind him.
All right, if they're going to throw, Nesbitt is only 5 out of 16.
I don't like that call.
No. Smith moves back to the wing. Peoples gives it to Allen. Now Allen, or Nesbitt gave it to Allen. Nesbitt is seeing something in the last 2 plays that's not there, because Allen's gotten the ball and gotten whacked immediately.
Yeah, those defensive tackles are doing their job. They're winning the game on the inside. I mean, this has been a story of a game where Georgia Tech, first 3 drives, 43 yards, last 3 drives, nearly 200, but only 6 points. They just are not getting it to pay dirt.
4th and 6. Clock running down. Will they get this play off? Nesbitt to throw. Underneath, complete. That's going to be a touchdown. The catch by Allen. Anthony Allen out of the backfield. That's the 2nd time the fullback's gone out there and caught the ball
on this drive.
Yeah.
And we saw the big conversion by Allen earlier to keep this drive alive. And it's the patience. It's almost like when Nesbitt knows he has to get the ball there, he throws a strike. I mean, he laser focus in there. There's a reason this guy has done what he's done in his career.
You know, Allen may have touched his knee down short of the goal line. And now they're going to look at it. It looks like he slid and the ball is behind where his knee hit. May not be a touchdown after all. So that will delay the end of the quarter.
That's not indisputable. That right there. That's a touchdown on that particular angle. Yeah, that ball's across. Can't tell there. The ACC officials have done a nice job today of getting in and out, making a decision. And I just don't think there's indisputable video evidence there to support overturning it.
It's very, very close, but I think you're right. There's no way you can say definitively.
That's a touchdown.
And the more you see it, and especially from that angle, I'm more likely to say it was a touchdown than it wasn't.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands as called. Touchdown.
Now, an interesting decision here for Georgia Tech. Do you go for 1 or 2?
Yeah, I don't think you chase it right now.
Now they'll send out the kicking team. And the extra point is good. So at the end of the third quarter, Georgia Tech cuts the lead to 11 here at Clemson. And Allen has had a big game for Georgia Tech. We'll start the fourth quarter with a 24-13 Clemson lead over Georgia Tech. Let's take a look back with our Chick-fil-A drive recap, Craig.
Yes, this was a very impressive drive recap. 3rd and 10. Allen with a nice reception to convert that. That was a huge ball. 4th and 2. They got it manageable. And a nice job in the play calling to get outside. And then 4th and 6 for the touchdown. That's feeling the pressure and responding. That's how you defend if you're the ACC champion.
Ellington waits on the kick, takes it at the 3. Finds a seam up the middle and crosses the 35 to the 37. There is a flag down at the 33-yard line.
Holding number 35 of the return team. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
For the 3rd week in a row, the #1 team in the country has a big road challenge. ABC Saturday Night Football features DeMarco Murray and the Sooners of Oklahoma trying to stay atop the BCS standings, but they have to go to Columbia, Missouri to face the undefeated and 11th-ranked Tigers. Saturday Night Football, presented by Southwest Airlines on ABC at 8 Eastern. Georgia Tech by 11. And they have the ball starting from their own 21. And flags fly again.
Full start, number 65 of the offense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Could have been 55. Freeman, the center. There is no 65. Could have been 61. Chris Hairston.
Parker heated up on that last drive, the touchdown drive. They were short underneath throws, but he was at least getting it to open receivers and letting them do their thing one-on-one.
First and 15 for the Tigers. And Harper gets a couple of yards.
Reminder that Georgia Tech is 11-2 out of their last 13 ACC games. And this is a football team. Paul Johnson, they are never out of a game.
Clemson up by 2 scores. Still time for that option offense to come back. But we saw how they can be limited at the end of the first half. Little flanker screen, get it out to Bryce McNeil. Another one of those young receivers they see a bright future for.
Got away with a holding call on the outside there by our wide receiver blocking. But we said it at halftime coming out. 3rd downs. Going into the game, we talked about 3rd downs and the importance here. Al Groh hoping he could get to several 3rd and longs like this against Kyle Parker and then dial up something different with that 3-4 defense.
Parker back at the original line of scrimmage, the 21, facing a 3rd and 10. Only a 3-man rush. Now they come with 4. Parker flushed And throws incomplete, dropped at the last moment by Harper, and it looked like Reese got a hand in there and ripped it out.
Yeah, Reese did a really nice job of getting in through the ball. I thought it was a nice throw by Parker, but a beautiful job. Reese jumping in there with that hand and just stripping the ball out.
Moved him from safety this year to a corner because they thought he had better skills than the other guys they had coming back, and that was the first 3 and out for this Tech defense today. Dawson Zimmerman to punt to Tarrant, who is a tremendous kick returner, end over end punt, and Tarrant forced to make a fair catch at the 43, only a 36-yard kick, but the good news is no return. Memorial Stadium in Clemson. Georgia Tech cranking up the offense after a woeful start. The last 3 drives, they have gone 71 yards, 66 yards, and 78 yards to put 13 points on the board and make it a 24-13 game. Nesbitt under pressure, and they got him. The nation's leader in sacks, Daquan Bowers, gets his 10th. You make a 7-step drop, and Daquan Bowers is in the game. Look out.
He goes through a tackle. He goes through a chip block by a back. But that's a coverage sack there. The fans here in Clemson felt the sense of urgency here on this particular drive, and they conveyed that urgency to that defense.
Really surprised they came out to throw on first down again. Nesbitt with the pitch. And that one may have been forward. If it is, it looked like he was beyond the line of scrimmage, so that would be an illegal forward pass.
But this is how important it is for that back to stay right with him. It's, you know what, that's to the side at least.
Personal foul, number 94, the defense. It's a 15-yard penalty from the end of the play. First down.
Rennie Moore charged with the personal foul. And the Clemson sideline really upset. I'm sure Dabo Sweeney is saying, listen, that was a forward pass.
Hey, you know what, though? I mean, it's bang, bang. It's right there, Mike. It's one of those debatable ones, but it's there. The one that's not debatable probably is the one that's the foul at the end of the play.
Allen drilled as he got to the 30. Well, you take a beating if you get that inside handoff, don't you?
Yeah, my goodness. You earn all the accolades. Allen has 2,400 plus career yards coming in here, and he's earned every one of them. He's felt them.
Fourth in the ACC in rushing coming in.
Especially when you don't even get the ball, you're getting drilled.
That's right. Yeah, just for your trouble. 2nd and 7. Nesbitt, short set, pumps, then throws deep. His receiver was nowhere close to that ball. It looked like he broke off the pattern, and Earls, who is a senior, didn't have a shot at it at all, and Xavier Brewer was the closest guy to it, and he wears a purple jersey.
Yeah, but watch here on the left side. He's looking to throw to Roddy Jones, and if he throws, look right in here. There's a lot of jerseys that are around that area. That's a deflected at a minimum ball, if not intercepted.
Nesbitt got him by the ankles, took him down in the backfield, and that is Daquan Bowers again, who not only leads the nation in sacks, he leads the nation in tackles for loss, and just got another one there.
You know what, Mike, when you watch how he plays, watch the handwork of Bowers. I mean, he uses his hands, gets them out, keeps them off, keeps his legs clean and free. He's expected to be blocked. Nesbitt's not expected that defensive end to be in the play.
And they're going after him with 2 guys on every play, a lineman and a back. And now they will go for a very long field goal. It'll be a 49-yard try. And it's no good. Would have made it a one-possession game, but Blair, who has an extremely strong leg, I saw him kick one from 53 in warm-up that was good by at least 10 or 12 yards. Couldn't hit this one. Clemson with a bend but don't break defensive stand, and Dabo Swinney loves that 11-point lead. Little Thanksgiving fun down here in Clemson, South Carolina, and Scott Blair not having fun at all. He missed that field goal. It would have made it a one-possession game, and now Clemson can work on the clock. Out to the 35-yard line goes Ellington. Season's on the line. The Cowboys fighting to climb back into contention. Tony Romo leads Dallas against Eli Manning and the Giants. They're on a 3-game roll. Giants Cowboys, ESPN's Monday Night Football at 8:30 Eastern. Coverage starts at 7 Eastern with Monday Night Countdown served by Applebee's. And if you see him, say hi to Craig James. He will be there.
Yeah, like I don't get enough football games in. My one night, my few hours off, I'm going to a game.
Good for you.
May have to sneak over to the ballpark and see the Rangers play.
Ellington. Well, he makes some great decisions at the line of scrimmage with the way he cuts off of blocks and sets them up. Let's go to Robert Flores. Tough Big Ten game there. And now they will measure for the first down. Just short. Half the length of a football.
Well, with 10 minutes to go here in the ball game, Georgia Tech desperately needing a stop. They're going to, Al Grove's going to, and penetration to stop something that's short like this, they're going to have to come with everybody and expose themselves to the play action.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Kyle Parker, a kid who really fakes the ball well and handles it well, but they go the conservative route and go the quarterback keeper and get the first down. Every second they take off of this clock, to me, is huge for Clemson, because Georgia Tech is not a quick strike team.
Patience by Parker. Now let this play clock run down and just chew it up as best he can.
Ellington. Boy, they've exploited the middle the entirety of this game.
Yeah, you know what? It's just been that the Clemson offensive line has been able to get on Georgia Tech, and Georgia Tech just can't get off of them. What a night by Ellington.
Not bad. 13 for 139, and 95 have come straight up the gut. He's got that little hesitation after he gets the handoff, and he's looking to set up a block. He does an exceptional job of that. And Parker trying to bleed time off that play clock. Harper again. Or Ellington, excuse me. To the 47-yard line, enough for a first down. And conservatively, each first down is worth 2 minutes. One more and you put Georgia Tech in a world of hurt.
It might be running up the middle, but look at left guard 73, left tackle. Look at how they got their fannies and turned them to the hole and allowed Ellington to get up in there. Nice job blocking backside.
Under 8.5 minutes to go. First down, Clemson. Ellington now in the eye behind Deal. Cuts to the left, picks up another 5. This is what Georgia Tech likes to do to people. 5 yards at a shot. And Clemson is doing it to them.
Well, it's a little bit of an attitude game now for Clemson. They pride themselves on playing hard and tough. I thought they had revenge on their mind coming in here. After last year's twice very close defeats,
Ellington getting a breather as he's carried the ball 15 times for 148 yards, a career high. So Harper's going to come in and give him a breather on second and call it 6. He'll get the carry. Big hole off the left side. Another first down for the Tigers to the 33, and the clock ticking inexorably in Clemson's favor.
So the new Storm continuing the tradition here of that power and having two good solid backs. The left side, the fullback does his block, and a fresh 235-pound change of pace in Harper.
Yeah, Deal at 265 just comes in there and ties somebody up, and there's a gaping hole off the left side. Georgia Tech has to have a stop. They just absolutely have to. Harper again. Nice cut. And that was tremendous hustle by Jerron Brown, the wide receiver, trying to get downfield, throw him a block. He ended up running into his own man, but he's down there giving it everything he's got.
They're trying to get Harper to put his foot in the ground and go north and south. After you make this dramatic cut right there, man, look at, get that left foot in the ground and now go north. And at 235, you're not going to be brought down by any one individual arm tackle.
And he's turning around looking at Jerron Brown saying, where are you coming from?
Yeah.
4.5 minutes off the clock on this drive. 8 straight runs. Georgia Tech knows it's coming and still can't stop it. Harper again off the right side. 10-5. Touchdown, but it's coming back. There's going to be a hold. There are 2 flags, in fact. They may be the same thing. It was an obvious hold, I thought, on the outside. It looked like Terrence Ash, number 87, the wide receiver.
There are 2 fouls on the play, holding number 87 of the offense. The penalty is declined. Illegal motion on the offense. 2 men moving at the same time at the snap is accepted. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Holding would have been 10 yards, but from the spot of the foul. So if they take the 5 yards, it's actually better for them.
Yeah, to make it 1st and 15 here from where it was backed up, but 2 different guys moving. But look at the patience of Harper.
There's Ash on the outside.
Yeah, just outside their block. But this offensive line put them on their shoulders, didn't they?
Yes, they have. And they still got them there. As we're down to 6:26 and counting. Ellington back in. This time hit before he can make that move by the inside linebacker Julian Burnett.
And I'm not sure what Ellington saw there. I'd be interested to see or have a conversation with him in film study because he needed to stay outside on that. The play was there. No question. David Smith, left guard, pulling over there. Fullback there, it was outside.
But if he made a mistake, it's the first one he's made today, isn't it?
I guess he's allowed one. But if you got somebody behind you named Harper who's wanting more carries, you better not make too many of them.
That's true.
Competition.
Under 6 minutes to go in this ball game. Ellington got to the 23. Now Georgia Tech has already used one of its timeouts, and they only have 2 left here in the 4th quarter. They're going to need them. Third down and long for Clemson, trying to keep this drive alive. Ellington to the 10-yard line, first down. You got to hand it to the Tigers. They came out on this drive. You know the one thing they're thinking, let's just take as much time off this clock as we can, and they are killing Georgia Tech.
Well, when you blitz a run blitz on the right side and you're out of position and you break as a runner the line of scrimmage, it's a big play. And at that time, the vision of Ellington was dead on.
This drive has already eaten up 6 minutes, 58 yards, 11 plays. And Georgia Tech is down to 1 timeout. They're down 2 possessions. Ellington again. All they really need to do right now, if you're a Clemson Tiger, is hang on to the football. They don't need a score here.
Ellington came into this game really wanting to solidify the post C.J. Spiller era. And I think he's done it. No question about that. And I thought Jamie Harper had an outstanding game as well. That offensive line up front paved the way for some nice games.
Parker working the clock. Ellington again. Spins out of a tackle. Good job of covering up the football. Put both arms around it.
The only way Georgia Tech gets back in this game is if that runner gives that extra effort, third, fourth effort, fumbles, pick up 6.
Absolutely. And really, Clemson could have done a slightly better job on this drive, taking the play clock down a little further. A lot of times they've been snapping the ball at around 10.
I had a funny moment last week. After our Florida State-Boston College game, I went up to the coach's office and watched the evening games, and Mark Stoops and his mother was there. So Mrs. Stoops of Mike and Mark and Bob.
Right.
The first thing she says to me, she goes, "You know what, Craig, was good about that game today? How about our offense? They took the last 7 minutes of that game and just chewed the clock up." And I laughed and I go, what mother would know that except a Stoops mother who's the mom of defensive coaches,
well,
right?
She's from Youngstown. She knows.
That was great.
BCS #1 Oklahoma goes on the road tonight to face undefeated and 11th ranked Missouri in Columbia. Saturday Night Football presented by Southwest Airlines on ABC at 8 Eastern. Clemson trying to put Georgia Tech away. End around. Brown to the 5 and out of bounds. Mario Edwards took him out.
You know, before that play right there, this was already the longest play of the season, longest drive of the season for Clemson. It was at 7:12, so whatever that took right there adds on to it. Why is that important? It shows you the power and the understanding and the execution of Clemson at this point in the season. We came in here thinking that Kyle Parker had to be the guy to get them going. It wasn't a Kyle Parker show. It was a team show.
Yes, it was. If anything, it was an Ellington show.
Yeah.
Now let's take a look at this week's BCS standings, brought to you by about 10 seconds from tackle to the next snap, and they were productive every time as well.
That's right. It's a great point, Mike. They weren't making mistakes at the pace they were going.
Catanzaro will come on to try the field goal. To be a 22-yard attempt. And he knocks it through. It is still a 2-possession game at 27-13. 3:28 to go. If you're Georgia Tech, it's not a quick strike offense. You have trouble throwing the football. You've got to, your offense is the option. 3:28's not very much time.
No, not at all.
I'm not painting a very good picture here.
No, not a good picture at all. But if you know, in the ACC, again, this is a solid conference. There are no great teams out there. Florida State might be, but Florida State goes to NC State next Thursday night. So, you know, Clemson did what they had to do today. They came in here and from the beginning took advantage of a roughing the punter play. The next play, 55 yards, touchdown by Ellington. Clemson
would stay alive with a win, go to 2-2. Georgia Tech would fall to 3-2 and be 2 games behind Virginia Tech in the loss column. Aside from the shameless plug for next Thursday night's game, it should be a good ball game. And Florida State, you're right, they've got a chance. If they get better, they've got a chance to be among the elite.
Yeah, we did their game last week against Boston College, and they're a good football team on defense, offense, special teams. But that doesn't mean they are the team. And this is, I mean, they have truly shown they're good to this point. But you've got Clemson out there, and Clemson, I mean, the way they played today up front with their offensive line and their defensive tackles, Daquan Bowers, those guys, I mean, they're a strong, good football team.
Yeah, I'd like to watch some more Clemson games this year just to watch Daquan Bowers. Georgia Tech could use a big return in the worst way. They have not had one yet this afternoon or this evening. Peebles in a collision at the 35. Let's check in with Robert Flores. The hat's calling him again, isn't he?
Are you kidding me? LSU, I mean, they can't get it done traditionally with the offense, so you razzle-dazzle them to death.
They make more stunning plays than any other three teams. Nesbitt. Intended for Hill, tipped and intercepted, picked off by DeAndre McDaniel. Jonathan Meeks got a hand on it. McDaniel, who had 8 interceptions a year ago, got his 3rd of this year. And Nesbitt just doesn't look comfortable when he's got to throw the ball.
Well, you add it up now, and that's 14 in the career of interceptions for McDaniel, and that's that defense. Just get to the football, and something good might happen for you. But this is, and you said this a while ago, Mike, this isn't a good spot. This is not a good position for Georgia Tech. This isn't what they like to do or how they do it.
Great play by Meeks and McDaniel. He's just one of those guys who was always going to be around the ball.
Well, that last drive, 15 plays for Clemson, 64 yards, 7 minutes, 36 seconds. And one play later, your defense has to go back out there at Georgia Tech. That old line, you think they are lathered up, got their pads set. They're loving this.
And Georgia Tech has no timeouts left. Was the penalty for excessive celebration? Was that why they moved him back? And it was. And now all Georgia Tech has to do is try to run out the clock. Out to the 12. Apparently they're going to say McDaniel went over and handed the ball to a fan. That's a 15-yard penalty.
Well, Dabo Swinney said, we're about to become what we thought we'd be. Right?
Good call.
Mark Mayday and I had a go around the other day about Nostradamus. So I guess Dabo Swinney's got a little Nostradamus in him.
If you want something that has been a difference in this game, something to label it, I think it's been the toughness of that Clemson offensive line. They have been very, very good. Tough trip for Georgia Tech. They had knocked off Clemson 3 straight times since Dabo Swinney has been the coach here, but he'll get revenge today. Clemson has done the job on the ground as well. 238 yards on 35 carries. It's almost 7 yards a run. Take a look at our Pacific Life game summary.
Kind of a summary of the backs, isn't it, Mike?
It sure is.
You really had an excellent effort and valiant effort by Allen. Anthony Allen, 130 total yards with a touchdown. A very important deal to give Georgia Tech a chance. But Andre Ellington with 178 total and 3 touchdowns. He's kept that explosive play at Clemson and their offense post-Spiller era.
And it's impossible to take a guy like Spiller, especially when you team him with Ford. That was as good a 1-2 punch as there was in college football. They were, and especially returning kicks. I mean, you put those guys back there, something nasty was going to happen. And a first down will allow Clemson to take a knee. Tigers will go to 4-3. Georgia Tech will fall to 5-3. Never an easy thing to come into Death Valley looking for a victory, and Georgia Tech's not going to get it today. And hats off as well to Kevin Steele, the defensive coordinator at Clemson, because he solved that defensive mystery today. Found a way to shut down that offense of Georgia Tech.
Well, last year, Clemson lost to Georgia Tech, and I thought Georgia Tech was hot and really good, and they went to Miami the next week, and Georgia Tech got ripped, and I thought, well, they fell apart. They recovered, went on to win the ACC. So don't count them out, but certainly a tip of the hat today for Clemson.
Dabo Swinney and Paul Johnson, a lot of respect on each side there. And the Clemson Tigers, in their minds at least, are going to be right back in this race in the ACC. They are still alive at worst. Once again, the final score, Clemson 27, Georgia Tech 13. For Craig James and our entire crew, this is Mike Patrick saying so long from Clemson, South Carolina. Now let's head back to the studio.